this up onto here. Just let me know when I'm
Are you live?
I should be live. We'll see.
This is how I'm getting an advert now, so it must be all over live stream start with go. Am I on? Are you on?
I think that's how all live streams start though. That's just...
I'm going to skip the ad.
Excuse me? Gonna skip my ads? That's our livelihood.
On.
That's
I
our...
can see you now.
Oh, okay. Well, hello and welcome to the Arcane Forge. My name's Josh, and today, in today's art stream, we're going to be doing a tribute to Mer-May in the art community, which is where May is usually filled with loads of artists making very, very interesting and vibrant and unusual interpretations of merfolk, mermaids, mermen, whatevers. And I'm going to be using your suggestions to do that. So come up with some ideas of aquatic creatures that you think would be an interesting addition to kind of skin and sort of flavour a Mer-Creature. And I'll write them down and we can kind of randomly select a few. I'll maybe draw like 2 merfolk and using various parts. I'm thinking maybe like using 2 different aquatic creatures fused together into a kind of like humanoid form and stuff, but we'll just see how it goes and kind of go with the flow. In the meantime, this channel and this stream are brought to you thanks to my patrons on Patreon, who are absolutely wonderful, without whom I couldn't do any of the stuff that you guys enjoy on this channel, and I want to give them all a special shout out. So this month my patrons are Nicholas G. Silver, Raptor Dio, Jelly Pig, Duck Quack, Nappin Camo, Jonathan Foster, Benjamin Colburn, Yorick Beese, Ethan Dibby, Skyrush Soul, Nathan Stratton, Amanda and Jake Westfall, Ken Doman, Peter Balfe, Max Schluter, Ryan H., Tim Klemer, Steve Harrison, Dan Waterman, Styrax, Colby Monroe, It's Just Avi, Sam Hickson, Brandon Kerr, Bork Boulderbender, Darth Caetana, Trevor Traub, Max Copeland, Oliver Thorvald Mellock, Dominique Jolly, AJ, Tamerling, Aldrin, Christian Palmer Smith, Matthew Anderson, Nicholas Brown, Jacob Ryan von Aegir, Ragnar Bearson, Matt Lichenwalner, Rose Selavy, Damien, Jared Moore, Daniel Williams, Inquisitor Thomas, Megan Myrick, Doombot9, Bronwyn Haller, George Punton, UHDA, Uda Jorge, Dean Root, Denny Scalf, Bootsy Rappeltech, Luke Kamek, Grant Train, Janessa, and Rory Gladstone. So thank you guys all so much for your help and support and for letting me get to do what I really love, which is make really, really nerdy drawings on the internet. I'm joined by my wife as well, who is going to be reading out all of your comments, or maybe not all, because that is like a nearly impossible task, but as many as she can pick out.
As many as I can pronounce.
Yeah, pretty much. And we can kind of start
so we've got
picking out creatures.
Ace, Steve, Moonring, Yorick, and you're in the chat.
Oh, welcome guys. How are you guys all doing? You having a good day today?
So Moonring's asking what we're making. We've got a suggestion of sturgeon mermen. Steve says if this creation ends up being the mascot for a D&D coffee chain, I'm going to have a breakdown.
Oh god, yeah.
Have you all seen the illustration of what position that mermaid would have to be in?
Oh, yeah, that's very grim.
Duck Quack's here.
Oh, nice to see you.
Hi, everyone.
So yeah, we're looking for suggestions for mermaid parts to fuse together. I'm going to roll randomly on this table here, and we're going to kind of, using your suggestions, make 1 or 2, probably 2, Mer-Creatures who have a sort of humanoid top half, and I'm going to fuse some various creatures. So things like, I was talking to 895 Ace in the comments earlier on. I'm sure some sort of horrible monstrosity like a lobster jellyfish humanoid merfolk will come up at some point. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see your suggestions for things that we could put in here.
So Steve said he would like to see something beautiful this time.
That would be really nice, wouldn't it?
Theme. So that's up to you guys to suggest.
Yes, I'm rooting for you to make something beautiful. But I also know you, so.
Devin, don't worry, you haven't missed anything yet. We're just getting warmed up. Ducklack says, how about a mare horse? Lower half seahorse, upper half regular horse.
Okay.
I'm into that.
Oh my god.
That's kind of like, I'm sure I've seen some Kelpie illustrations a bit like that.
Yeah.
The sort of Scottish Kelpie thing anyway, so that sounds pretty cool.
By the way, Myrtle is snuffling in the background as per usual. She's been dead quiet all day until it's time to start recording, so she's naturally being really loud now. Myrtle.
Hey Jonathan, thank you so much for your donation. Jonathan says, I want to stay and watch, but I'm at work, so here's my standard keep streaming donation.
Thank you very much. Cheers for the support, and I hope work goes well. I'm sorry you couldn't join us, but thank you very much for the help.
Yeah, maybe check back in later once it's up on YouTube and see what horrific or maybe
hopefully beautiful.
Maybe not.
Maybe beautiful. You never know.
Lobster bottom half is quite cool because I think that doesn't necessarily need to be grim. That could be quite nice.
There are plenty of shrimpy
snail mermaid.
Oh yeah.
Snail bottom half mermaid. So are you going to put human in as a?
So human's going to be like the
base.
base. So it's going to have a humanoid sort of top half, no matter what. But I quite wanted to. I've seen a lot of really interesting designs of Mer-Creatures where like aquatic parts are used in the humanoid bits as well, just to kind of give them a more like, it's not just, how much I hate the kind of hybrid creatures that are just like a creature with another creature like stuck together. I don't want a pen pineapple apple pen of multiple creatures. I want to like really fuse them together. So
what was the TV show that was on when we were kids where it was a guy who, when he jumped into water, he grew sort of fins and stuff. He was a good example of that.
That was really cool.
Gills and webbed fingers and things like that, rather than just.
Do you remember that horrendous episode of Round the Twist? Where there was the guy and he grew like fingernails all the way up the hand. That stayed with me forever, and I felt like I could feel that.
That's pretty much the only episode of Round the Twist that I can remember, other than the one where the garbage sticks to the guy because they put a hobo's earring in.
I don't remember that. I do remember the fox eyes though. Like,
haunted by the mermaid one.
And the lemon tree and the fox eyes. Like that show was way too twisted for kids.
Hi Stephen, we've got a greeting from the beautiful American Midwest.
Oh, lovely.
York says maybe it could have the Plasioderm parts in it.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about. Yeah, let me just make sure I'm spelling that right before I.
Oh my goodness, this is a tricky one. Dunkleostesis?
Dunkleostesis, yes, Dunkleostesis. I used elements of that in the.
Prehistoric armoured fish with plenty.
It's very, very cool.
Cobalt mermaid.
Hell yeah.
Croc maid.
Croc maid? Oh yeah, of course, yeah, hell yeah.
Stingray mermaid.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Royal oarfish, the king of the herrings from Philippe. I'm not familiar with that one. Thank you very much, Minring. What a mind flayer mermaid.
Ooh, I'll put octopus down as a kind of. That's where we're gonna go with it. If that's cool. Octopus. Croc.
Oh, that's interesting. Steve says maybe hair that's actually those long belling tail membranes that angelfish or some of those ornamental
angelfish can definitely. Is it angelfish I'm thinking of?
Yeah. Did you ever feel like this? Yes. Right. How do you say that then? Dunkleosteris.
Dunkleosteris, is that right?
Dunkleosteris, the armoured fish of nightmares.
Yeah, okay. Don't worry. I know this guy.
Yorick, and a great suggestion of a lamprey because none of us needed to sleep.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. We hold on. Lamprey. Is it R-A-Y or R-E-Y? Ray?
R-E-Y.
Ray.
And
okay, so
Icarus as well, thank you for joining us. I got to go to bed. Oh, he was going to go to bed, but not anymore. Wow, thank you.
Thank you very much for staying up.
Oh, jellyfish hair. You know, you were talking about
I was
wanting
talking about
to
that.
do a jellyfish.
Okay, we can maybe add a couple more. As per usual, we can add a couple more. Right. Okay, hold on. 11. We had stingray.
Oh.
12. Jellyfish.
Oh, there's so many good suggestions.
All right, we can go to a maximum of 20.
Right. I'll read a few out.
Okay.
And you can pick maybe from a couple of.
Okay, hang on. Here we go. Yeah. 13.
Anything that you
14,
feel like is inspiring
15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, and then we definitely have to stop. Okay, right.
Okay. So we've got bobbit worm, sunfish.
Oh.
Anglerfish with the lure or teeth.
Oh, anglerfish.
That's the one that I was like, oh yeah. Axolotl.
Oh yeah.
Lionfish. Do we have lionfish down?
We
lionfish
don't, but I would love to see lionfish in there.
Dunkleosteus is a placiderm, so you could flip those together. And
are they? Right, they're part of the same family. Right, okay.
Duckquax is Gyarados?
Gyarados, the Pokemon maybe.
With human arms.
Oh god,
Does that make sense?
I mean, that sounds horrible. I'm assuming that's the Pokemon with like adding human arms on side is an amazing image, but let's not get sued. Let's do our own things. I don't want Nintendo breathing down my neck.
Doesn't D&D already have a lamprey mermaid with the Anglusians? Oh, sorry, I'm such a terrible host with
that's about right.
Anglulians.
I don't recognise it, but maybe in a previous edition that I'm unfamiliar with.
Oh my goodness. There's a very ugly prehistoric fish called Cephactinus.
Do you want to let me see? Yeah. While I'm going to put one of my own in here. I'm going to put some more crab. What was that, sorry?
Hang on, I need to mute the stream so that I don't hear you from 30 seconds ago talking over it. Right.
Okay.
Zephactinus.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's stick it in there. How am I spelling this?
XIP.
HAC.
TINUS.
Okay, Zephactinus. Okay.
Oh, it's pretty cool though.
Yeah, let's have a look.
It's like a terrifying sharky fish.
Ooh, okay.
It's got a really interesting jaw structure.
That's really cool.
I mean, this is not going to be pretty.
I've got a couple if we're sort of running low on suggestions now.
Oh, I don't think we are.
No. Okay. I'm gonna put one in as executive choice here.
Okay.
I'm gonna put manatee in because they were mermaids anyway.
A nice side of things.
Yeah.
Is clownfish.
Oh yeah, that's a nice idea.
Sea cucumber could be funny. Yeah.
Oh, that would be pretty good.
It'd be pretty not safe for work. Starfish. Wow, that would be.
Ooh, starfish would be great. Well, just because I'm going to interpret these however I like, really. So, I think starfish is a good call.
Yeah, that's a challenge. I think.
Yeah.
The glassfish is pretty cool. It's essentially see-through. I just googled it here, and you can see it's.
But that's really hard to draw. I think that's going to be like more than a couple of hours worth of work.
And a manatee.
I put a manatee in there, so thankfully someone had the same idea as me. That was just I really want to draw a manatee mermaid. So yeah, that sounds good. Okay, so
orca. How can you forget orca?
Orca. We'd have to get rid of something for orca. Should we get rid of something for orca? What do you think?
I think we need to start being ruthless, unfortunately.
Okay, right. We got 20.
We went up to 10, from 10 to 20.
I did say 20 is the end. Sorry, guys. Thank you for your suggestions. Okay, so let's see what monstrosity / beautiful thing we end up making. I'm going to make 2. I think if I make a male and a female body type. Then we get a nice mix, and we can kind of see what we end up making. So can you roll 3 d20s for me?
3 d20s.
And no, sorry, 2 d20s to start off to make our first creature.
Oh, it's a crit fail. So
a sturgeon.
And 6.
And a Dunkleostus. Okay, that's gonna be pretty cool. Okay. And should we save the second one until I've finished kind of drawing this one, or do you think I should?
Steve, who was the one that suggested this, might be something beautiful for a change. The goddamn bobbit worm made the list. I turned my back for 2 minutes and look what happened. Sorry, Steve.
I'm gonna have a look at a sturgeon here.
I mean, you could go for the First Minister.
That's what I was thinking. I think I've actually spelt it in the... Oh no, it is spelt the same, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, okay, I've ended up drawing... You know what? Sturgeon don't look anything like what I thought they looked like. I thought this was like a very, like, standard issue fish. But this is, if such a thing exists. But this is going to be real interesting. Now, the issue is... both the sturgeon and the Dunkleostus have really interesting faces that I particularly want to use. It's going to be a tough call on how that will work. And am I doing the male or the female body type first?
Do you want me to roll?
Yeah, why not?
You're doing female.
Female sturgeon Dunkleostus. Okay, right. Wait, I'm going to still try and make this... Can I make this beautiful? Something...
I'm just thankful nobody suggested a leech.
Ooh, yeah. Okay, sturgeon, Dunkleostus. Let's just keep that in our heads. Let's go for it and let's see what we end up coming up with.
Oh, yeah, if anyone's got sturgeon facts...
Yeah, sturgeon.
Feel on. Feel free.
Feel on.
Feel on,
Yeah.
man. That's because I try to read and speak at the same time.
Yeah. No worries.
My only mental image of a sturgeon is from Animal Crossing, so I imagine that's pretty a cute version.
It's got like a kind of long nose and little whiskers, and it's got a kind of it's got a very arched back, like it's got a kind of hunched back with lots of ridges, a bit sort of alligator-like, I guess. It's a very interesting creature. This is going to be an armoured sort of... I'm getting very warrior vibes from the idea of this. Sorry, I'm just Googling what these creatures look like so I can actually get a decent impression before I start. Where are we? Right, okay. Okay. Yeah. So we've got this person here. I think this is going to be quite an aggressive looking person because the Dunkleostus don't mess. There's no, you never see a happy looking Dunkleostus.
I've personally never seen one.
I would Google it. They're very fun. I use them as inspiration for the.
Oh yeah, caviar comes from sturgeon. Is that
right?
Yeah, I think you're right, Steve.
That's
They spend at least 3 years in uni, an additional 4 years in medical school. I mean, since it's a woman and it's part sturgeon, I think you should give it our First Minister's very distinctive hairdo.
Okay. I mean, I wasn't planning on doing hair, but we can see. I mean, I'm definitely imagining this one speaking with Nicola's voice, for sure. I mean, she's gonna have like fangs as well because of the sturgeon. She's gonna be a real mix. I'm intrigued. I think this is going to be a very interesting creature.
Icarus says Dunkleosteus were known to be very cannibalistic creatures.
Are they?
Oh, okay. York says, fun fact, more modern theories suggest that the Dunkleosteus may have had lips.
Hmm.
And Steve agrees with me that you should give it Nicola hair.
We'll see. Let me just block out some shapes to start.
The biggest was 25 feet. Is that for real?
Yeah, prehistoric, man.
No, sorry, sturgeons.
Sturgeons? What? Can't be right.
That would be terrifying.
No, thank you.
Let me check that.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
They have a picture of it.
Let me have a look.
Because I want to sort of see. I want to see that from a safe distance.
I don't think there's any pictures that would give you the idea of the scale, really.
Yeah.
Oh, well, actually, I mean, it's not, that one's not 25 feet, but that looks about the length of a human.
It's real big. Right. Okay.
Not to be messed with.
Yeah, that's not.
Like the First Minister. Jeez.
Yikes. That's horrific.
So, I'm just curious to know if anyone in the chat has had any underwater campaigns. It sounds like the new Adventure Zone is all set underwater.
Very excited about that.
Yeah. Adventure Zone was what got me into D&D, really. Before that, it was just something Josh talked about. And I was like, yeah, sounds good. And then I heard the Adventure Zone, and I was like, I'm in. Count me in.
Yeah. I mean, my very, very niche campaigns didn't sell it straight away. To
be fair, it wasn't your campaigns at that point.
True.
You were playing with someone else whose style was probably not really.
Yeah. It's also like everyone's campaign. When you try and describe your campaign to someone who's not in the campaign, it always just sounds like utter nonsense. Wonderful nonsense.
So Ace has done a few campaigns on Puerto. That's cool.
Seriously, that's cool.
Was it all set in the same world? Devon says, I ran a pirate campaign. Does that count? Yeah, I would.
Yeah,
it's close enough to the water. Moonring, across the world, sturgeon have been overexploited by humans to the point of near extinction. Up to 85% of sturgeon species are poised for extinction. In fact, most are listed as endangered. Oh, that's not
great.
good.
Yeah, no, thank you.
He says it was based initially around a pirate campaign, and then it became the party. Then it became the party decided to defend the ocean from land walkers above. That's cool.
That's awesome.
Bruticon says, I almost had an underwater adventure in the middle of a campaign, but a player started to have anxiety attack at the thought of drowning, so I cancelled. That's a really good call.
Yeah, that's a very good call.
I have to say, I like when DMs take these things into consideration, because it's got to be fun for everyone.
Yeah.
And I think that sounds like a good call. Duckquack is not quite underwater yet, but later on in Salt Marsh, there's a ton of underwater stuff.
Okay.
It should be fun.
Sounds cool. I thought you were like about to do a massive spoiler for your campaign. They're like, it's not underwater yet, but they're just about to screw up this massive thing.
Steve says there's a big bit of aquatic stuff in my upcoming campaign. It's always upcoming. Already pandemic.
Yeah.
We only like playing in person. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I get you.
We've been getting on okay with the online thing, mostly because sometimes it's hard to organise everyone to be in person, so it's helped with the consistency, I'd say. But
yeah, that's true.
we can't wait to get back in.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to. Actually, I feel like I will be. It'll be less prep for me, weirdly, doing it in person. Just because I tend to go a bit too elaborate with the maps and stuff, and I think that's not really what I want to be spending all of my time on. I want to be writing, you know. and getting to use props and things like that really does sort of like cut the time down for me. Okay, I think that's a decent enough shape.
Chris PPX says, my campaign is ending its final sessions. My campaign is ending its final sessions by taking over the campaign's setting and overthrowing the governments through war crimes. That sounds pretty intense.
Sounds very intense.
I think the end of the campaigns like have to be this really
massive
big thing, really, don't they?
Definitely do. I think that's...
Oh, Yart says, my campaign has the opposite setting right now. They're in the sky, riding on giant bats and being attacked by
Aarakocra?
Yes, Aarakocra bandits.
Oh, nice. That's amazing. That sounds really fun.
Cool.
Right, okay, how am I going to divide this up properly? I think the face needs to be very Dunkleoster-y. So let's do...
I hope you do get a game soon, Steve. I don't know what the situation's like where you are. We are up to, I think we can have 6 people indoors, which just covers our
just about
group. But our group's quite spread out at the moment, so we're sticking to online.
All over the place.
His last game was the 6th of January 2020. That's a shame.
That's a real shame.
Okay, let's see. He says, I remember one NPC I had was a water genasi that had a pet mini box jellyfish named Squishy. And he was the prince of the underwater city and he did not want to become heir to the throne. That sounds really cool. I was obsessed with jellyfish when I was a kid, and I had a book with a diagram of a box jellyfish killing someone. It was very disturbing. Right, Aldrin says, I think this guy should be named after the name of the age armoured fish. Name of the age?
Name of the age? Armoured fish. I don't know.
Maybe let us know a bit more about that.
What have we got here? So I'm just tracing Dunkleoster's bones over here.
Yukotia. I've got plans to make an altered version of the Ghosts of Saltmarsh, with the main village being a kraken named Nakika, named after an octopus god from the mythology of the Gilbert Islands.
Ooh, that sounds really cool. Yes, please. That's cool. Then we get...
Whoa, sturgeon can live 100 years. Thanks, Mindring. I mean, if they're getting to 25 feet, I hope they're not growing like that over the space of just a couple of years. So.
Yeah, that would be horrifying. There we go, and then a little beak bit.
So Chris says they're working with the Church of the Abyss to finish a ritual which will coincidentally flood the world away.
That sounds pretty cool. That sounds awesome.
He says, but they will be going to a dilapidated port called Tarnsmouth. You can guess the rest. Lovecraft ahoy.
Yeah, definitely. Some very strong Innsmouth vibes. I like it. Okay, I think... some strong crest features are what we're going to need here. And it's going to be a very tough one to do.
It might help people see what you're doing with the detail if you turn your other layer just down a bit, just turn the visibility, just because with the blue.
Yeah, sorry, this is just how I usually work, but if visibility is poor, guys, please just let me know, and I will do my very best. I think that's looking okay. We'll maybe do a few specks here and there. I feel like she's got to have some armoured shoulder bits, maybe. some little armoured hands, I reckon, as well, and we'll see. I think some stuff needs to be coming out of here, otherwise it's going to look very, very strange. But we'll see what we can take from a sturgeon, and whether or not it'll help this aquatic predicament that I'm in terms of what she's going to look like. Okay, armoured hand bits for sure.
What about a mermaid mixed with a marine reptile, like a mosasaurus?
Oh yeah, mosasaurus, yeah.
Mosasaurus or a tylosaurus.
That sounds very cool. We've got a gator in there, so we've got some crocodile type creatures that would be a good mix. We'll have to see how the dice roll, and hopefully we'll end up with something like that. That'd be very cool.
Ooh, Tylosaurus looks like it is kind of a cross between a crocodile and a shark.
Oh hell yeah.
Terrifying.
Yes please. More of that. Here we go.
Steve says, so we have basically got a 25-foot long underwater barbarian lady who's essentially immortal by conventional standards. So folks, yeah, again, we have nailed this.
Yes, of course. Yes. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Let's get a nice crest going on in the chest here. Get some kind of bone plating going on. And get some more of these bones around the ribs. Is it me? Do I do not nice things?
What's that?
In terms of like the creatures, are they always gross because I make them, or are they gross because other people make them?
I don't know. I mean, I think you're quite perverse anyway. If someone with an eye phobia and a spider phobia, you've done a lot of twisted stuff with both of those things.
I know what I'm afraid of.
I feel like you're drawn from your disturbed part of your subconscious.
Yes, definitely. Right, okay. Need to get some sturgeon bits going on here. So, what am I going to do? Sturgeons. What can I pull from a sturgeon? They've got the long nose. They've got very distinctive fins. Yeah, they're quite shark-like with their fins, actually, aren't they? And they've got these really scary white eyes. So let's see. How do your fins work exactly? You have a kind of long bit like that, and then they kind of fin out, and they're almost like this. Lots of harsh edges and sharp lines with these guys. I'm excited to see. You know what? This actually might work pretty well with the sort of angular, sort of diamond-like patterns that they seem to have. Looks like it might work pretty nicely.
So Moonring is saying, hey, can you replace my mind flayer suggestions with the Anomalocursus, which is a terrifying shrimp style, looks like a slater.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Or a woodlouse.
Yes. We can go woodlouse-ulent with it. Yeah, that sounds nice. And that sounds nice. That sounds nice.
No.
Sounds nice. It definitely doesn't
Right,
sound
so
nice.
if Mind Flayer comes up, we can just switch
Yeah,
that out.
that's cool.
Icarus is envisioning that these two mermaids are a couple.
Oh, depends, I
even though the
suppose.
second one hasn't come up.
The second one has not come up yet, so we don't know. I mean, I feel sorry for whoever's...
Well,
We don't know. I might be able to make it less horrifying, but right now...
hey, horrifying creatures are a way to find love as well, Josh.
That's very true. That is very true. We'll do our best.
We need to have even more horrific children together.
Yeah. Right, okay, that's my sketch group, which I can make slightly less bright. Okay. Let's see how this monstrosity goes, huh? So that's the basis of my sketches there. So I'm pretty near the end of the latest season of Castlevania. I wonder if anyone else is joining me in that. Has anyone else been watching that? Or what is everyone watching right now?
To give it like 30 seconds for your answer.
That's alright. What's everyone saying in the chat? In general.
You're asking out of curiosity, do you have Atlantis in your world?
I don't have like the canon Atlantis, but I do have canon Atlantis. You know what I mean? I don't have the well-known Atlantis kind of thing, but I do have a species of people called the Naiad who fill in for Tritons in my world, and they have a kind of ancient Egypt vibe to them, and that's the kind of main civilization in the oceans for me.
S. Kennedy says Castlevania was amazing. Season 4 is fantastic. What season are you on?
That is season 4. That's the
oh,
one
you're
I'm
on. Sorry.
So I'm on the penultimate episode, I believe. Well, at least I can't imagine there being more episodes after the one I'm on.
Duck Quack was actually watching episode 9 when this started. Icarus says this lady reminds me of Striga a little.
Striga?
Stryga? Striga?
Oh, from the I think from the series itself actually.
Yeah.
Yes,
Sorry.
yeah. Yeah, definitely. I can totally get behind
They also
that.
say it's interesting how brutish and more masculine this female mermaid is. So I'm hoping the male could possibly get contrasting features, which would be neat.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's keep our don't write ourselves into corners and keep all of our creatures with gender fluid everything. Why not?
Ace says, I don't have much time to watch TV anymore, but when I get a chance, I watch The Masked Singer and some various. Is The Masked Singer like a reality thing, or is that an anime?
The Masked Singer sounds like a reality show, but
I think I might know which one. Is that the one where the celebrities are like hidden behind masks? Is it like The Voice but celebrities?
Oh, that's cool.
I don't know. I'm asking. I don't know anything about anime or dinosaurs apparently, so
that's alright. Those are both very niche interests.
Moonring says, I don't know if you remember, but I got some more shrimp. Oh, they're golden bee shrimp. I also got a really cool plant called a Madagascar lance plant.
Ooh.
Let's have a look at that.
That sounds cool. I realised, by the way, when I'm...
Oh, Yorick's saying that is yet to catch up on season 4, so would appreciate a minimal amount of spoilers.
No worries. No spoilers here. It's very good, Yorick. Highly recommend. Now, actually, sturgeon have really interesting eyes, don't they? Yeah, those are the cold, dead eyes of a serial killer. Okay, those will definitely go in.
Oh yeah, there's celebs who are really in really cool costumes, and the game is about trying to guess who's beneath the mask.
Oh, that's cool. I actually think there was a RuPaul thing that's a bit like that. There's like a celebrity RuPaul where there's like secret celebrities and stuff.
Oh, that would be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've not seen the masked one yet.
No, well, I think that's worth a look. Actually, that's going on the list.
Yes, are the celebrities of the kind of caliber that generally you would know who they are? Are they quite niche? Because a lot of British reality shows,
yeah,
I'm a bit like, someone from Made in Chelsea, and I have absolutely no idea what that is.
I didn't watch the last Celebrity. I didn't watch the last.
The Voice, but behind the mask.
Okay, that sounds really cool. The hidden voice. I'm liking this. There can be some, and I rarely say this, but there can be some cool sort of like grey colour palettes to this. which is not usually my cup of tea, but I think it might work
I think with that combination, you can't really go flamboyant with it. Hopefully, maybe
we'll
the
go
next character will be a bit more vibrant.
I could be more discerning with the next one
Really?
if you like, and like pick my favourites, but
It's quite a nice brush you're using. Is that a new brush?
no, I've been using this for a while actually, since Inktober actually. I was really really desperate to find a brush that felt like the brush pens that I was using. So when you get CC, Adobe CC, because I use Photoshop, that's like one of my most commonly asked questions. I always forget to like put in my FAQ. You get all of Kyle Webster's brushes, and this is one of his. It is from Kyle's Ink Box. It's Classic Cartoonist. I just have the sensitivity set really, really, really high, because that's how I like it. Okay, I'm going to give some sturgeon flippers for ears here.
Flippers for ears.
Yeah, so kind of trying to tie in some.
Yeah, getting some of those features in somehow.
Yeah, because it's very like the main body has a lot of sturgeon in it, but it's very hard to like.
I mean, if you're finding the two creatures you're merging there are like a little bit close, then we could maybe roll for another one.
That's true.
Or
They seem alright. I think this will fuse quite nicely. But maybe we'll see with the next one what that ends up feeling like. I think that's the upside of doing things like this. Now, hair wise, I think having a few strands of hair here. I feel like merfolk would probably not actually have hair, but you know what? I needed to. There was something with this silhouette that was just missing without hair, so we're having hair.
And it doesn't look like a Nicola Sturgeon Barnett to me, though.
It does not.
Sadly.
I apologise for the lack of Nicola Sturgeon-ness and for not representing the Nicola crew. But we're gonna. I hope I'm still allowed to live in Scotland, even if I do not draw Nicola Sturgeon.
It's a shame that Salmon's name is.
Why didn't I draw Nicola Sturgeon and Alex Salmond as just like the two merfolk? I suppose actually there's a lot of controversy about them right now, so maybe not. But yeah, I always thought it was Alex Salmon before I moved up.
Yeah, same. I called him Mr. Salmon when I was a fish. Oh my god, I can't speak today. When
It's
I was
alright.
a child.
I'm in the same boat. There's a lot going on. It's still a pandemic, guys.
Minring's asking, what do you think of the new Ravencroft?
I literally just got it last night, and I'm already obsessed with it. So
You're a bit sad that there's no werewolf in it.
yes, don't worry.
Really?
Will be putting a homebrew class or werewolves up at some point, lycanthropes of various descriptions, because I made a really fun vampire like class which I've really been enjoying, and I want to do something similar for lycanthropes because they don't have much really. That's not very nice hair actually.
Have you put some of your homebrew up on the...
I put a couple of things up. There was someone who was requesting something specific, and it's just about like translating a lot of things, so it's going to take a bit of time, but I will get to it eventually. I've put up because someone was really talking about the Warlock Archmage subclass that I made. Really wanted that up there, so I translated that into D&D Beyond, and that's already up there.
It looks like that is the only one up at the moment, but you might have noticed, guys, may not, the Arcane Forge website's had a bit of a makeover. So we'll be putting a lot more content on there over the next few months.
Yeah. Really, really liking how it looks, and I'm liking how it's going in general. So
I like that. Aldrin says this character looks like she'd pick me up, break my back, and then tear out my heart.
Yeah, really
And I love
much.
it.
Yeah.
A wolf wear is the opposite of a werewolf. Sorry, I thought that was a typo, so I switched it around. So what? They're normally a dog and then become a human in the moon.
Oh yeah. You know what? I've heard of jackal wares, and I didn't know they were the same thing. Okay. Well, there you go. You learn a new D&D thing every day. It's been around for longer than I have. Yeah, that's cool. So they're not in the book, and is that a staple of Ravenloft? Again, I don't tend to use existing campaign settings and existing storylines very much. I just use this because there's some really interesting features in there. I'm looking forward to putting survivors in my campaign, for example. There's a lot of my players, especially Yvonne, actually likes to play characters that are like
useless.
A person. Well, yeah, like a pretty useless person, but like they become pivotal to the adventure, and I think that's something that the survivor can really be useful for. You get like 3 levels of, and then you get to adventure or get off the pot, basically. You know.
Icarus says that they've made a warlock weaver patron as well, which sounds very similar in concept.
I haven't actually read too much of it yet. What's the deal with weaver patrons? That I'm guessing arachnid based. Sounds
Thank
very,
you,
very fun.
Can you do a wolf wear sometime? They're a more fey like werewolf.
Ooh.
And I would like to see what you can do. That does sound like right up your street for a Monster Monday, actually.
Absolutely, yeah, it really does. I was really interested to discover the Lythari as well, which were, for those who may not be aware, maybe this is common knowledge, maybe it isn't, but wood elves that are cursed with lycanthropy in a very specific way, are able to control it completely and can just basically turn back and forth between a wolf.
That's cool. That's the kind of werewolf you want to be.
Yes, yeah. You're just either a wolf or a person, and it's not like you don't get like the halfway in between stage where you're like a big beast monster, unfortunately. But it is like a very controlled thing, like a peace with nature is how they kind of.
Dawson Orman says hello.
Oh, hello.
I think you might be new to our stream, Dawson.
Yeah. Hello,
Thanks
Dawson.
for joining us. York says, that's funny, I also don't use campaign settings themselves, but rather just use them for ideas and stuff.
Yeah, that's the best thing.
Moonring says, one of the Dark Lords was a wolf wearer, but they changed to a werewolf to check that I got that at the right way around.
Oh my god.
So he's changed from a wolf wearer to a werewolf.
Okay, right, so some big changes have been made to the kind of overall campaign setting, right?
Wasn't there a Terry Pratchett character who was something like an opposite werewolf? Every full moon, all his hair fell out or something.
That sounds exactly like a Terry Pratchett creature. My favourite Terry Pratchett concept that I've ever heard of so far is the Oh God of Hangovers. Is so like in his world, like anything you believe comes true as long as enough people believe it, and enough people said "Oh God" when they had a hangover, that the "Oh God of Hangovers" became a thing.
That's so cool.
It's an amazing idea.
So many amazing ideas.
Yeah.
Icarus has sent you a DM on Instagram with the Weaver.
Oh, thank you very much. Very excited.
The Weaver is tied into the weave, which is what arcane spellcasters use to manipulate magic.
I'm with you. That kind of weave. Okay, that's cool. That's very, very cool. Okay, so a sort of more magic-based warlock. That sounds fascinating.
Aldrin says there's such a module DM. I never make my own campaigns, but I do add my own elements to each module.
That's great.
I think that's cool.
Yeah, there's no better or worse way to be a DM for sure.
Yeah.
There's just whatever interests you most, and I am lucky enough to have the time sitting behind a desk that I can come up with stuff. So
you could either spend an entire year writing a full-on ring binder for your campaign world, or
just
you could
one year, just
get a module and crack on with it.
You could, yeah. What you mean? The game.
Have you ever showed the group you're
No.
where is it?
It's
I
down
just
in
want to
the-
show the thickness of this binder.
It's
that
not that
Josh-
bad. It's not that bad.
It's not that bad. It's huge.
It's in the
cupboard
specialist
downstairs.
cupboard.
The
Oh,
specialist
I
cupboard.
have the D&D cupboard in the dining room where we will play D&D when we can actually meet people. And I like catalogued every homebrew thing, every book that I had bought that my players had not, that had options for making player characters and stuff like that, and laminated all the sheets that I scanned in from almost every book so that they could have all the books for free, basically. And then a bunch of my own stuff and a bunch of interesting stuff that I found online. And then, like, for a Christmas one year before we started the campaign, I gave them these huge binders, but I had to keep buying bigger and bigger binders because there was too many pages. So Yvonne is about to go and bring that book, and it was maybe a little bit over the top.
Look at the size of that.
Yeah, so this is what I presented all my players with.
It's all laminated, so it weighs a ton.
Well, that's because two of our players have babies, and they were
you didn't want them to spoil the
yeah,
precious
I
manual.
wanted them to be able to like use them at their dinner table at their leisure and not get anything damaged and stuff. So, you know, there's all the world lore and I've undone a bit of the binder. Don't worry, it's alright. I'll plug it back in. And then there's, you know, so much world lore, and then there's all the new rules and maps and
I'm with you.
know,
Not that bad.
subclasses and sub-races and pretty much the whole of Tome of Foes and homebrew races and other things that I've backed on Kickstarter, and like all the books they might miss, and a lot of homebrew spells and everything. So it's a bit chunky. It's a bit chunky, but it's, you know, value, and everyone's on the same page, and then, you know, no one's missing out on any books and stuff. Yes.
Oh my goodness, it's 4 a.m. We're Icarus.
Oh my god, Icarus.
You're gonna stick it out.
You don't have
Good
to.
luck.
But thank you
You
very
can
much for
always
joining
catch
us.
up later, but
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. Just
maybe you should start just talking very softly, like a good night audiobook.
We're just drawing a mermaid. This is now the Terrifying Mermaid ASMR channel. Are you still awake? Person in Australia.
Dear, oh dear. Sorry. Couldn't resist.
Holy moly. Yeah. Moonring is asking, do you think the new D&D movie will be any good? Audience is absolutely not.
No.
I mean, do you want it to be good, or do you want it to be like this sort of trashy classic that you watch for our friends' crap movie birthday every year?
So here's the thing. I think at best it's going to be like the Warcraft movie, right? Which was not a good film, but
Wasn't that bad?
it wasn't that
I
bad.
quite enjoyed it. I don't know if I'd rewatch it, but
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
That's fair. But as a massive Warcraft fan, it was, you know, there was enough stuff going on in it that I was like, oh man, I recognise all that, you know, it was, and it wasn't awful enough for it to be like a really terrible film. So, like, I think it's going to be a not great, but if you're into D&D, it will be fine kind of film. It's not going to be like, I don't think it's going to be what gets more people into D&D. That's going to be Critical Role, if we're honest. If they did a Critical Role movie, like an animated feature or something like that of the Critical Role team, that would get tons of people into D&D. I think this is going to be for D&D players existingly already who will already maybe enjoy it.
I think Aldrin was offended by the suggestion that the Warcraft film's alright. So no, get back. Get back, Josh.
I enjoyed it. It wasn't good, but I enjoyed it. But
I think
then
Steve summed up, I want it to be good, but I think it will be ungood.
I think I will be. I tend to, even with really rubbish bits of media, come away from it having enjoyed it and really liked it. and it takes me quite a long time to process that something was maybe a bit worse than I had assumed it was. So I think regardless, I will enjoy it because I get really, really overexcited.
Oh, they are doing their own Critical Role animated series by the looks of it.
Okay.
Their own show, Vox Machina.
Oh, there you go.
Machina.
Machina.
Sorry.
Either way works. It's Latin. It's a dead language. There's no correct pronunciation.
Steve says, I've taken a bit of a mad approach to my homebrew world.
Okay. Which we love.
The chat is totally drunk. I have stuff, broad strokes, but I'm hoping to incorporate some of my players' stuff into
Oh, that's a really
sort
nice
of
idea.
anarcho D&D, I suppose. That's really cool.
That's a really awesome way of doing it.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to actually, again, ADHD. I tend to always get excited about things that are in the future. But I'm excited about when my current campaign ends and we get to kind of do a time skip to the future and I get to work with my players on what they want to have happened in the intervening years and how that will help build my existing world, if that makes sense. But we are a long way away from that, so that's just, I think that was mostly inspired by having listened to the most recent Adventure Zone and being really excited about them sort of collaboratively world building together, with Griffin kind of having this overarching theme of this is going to be underwater no matter what we come up with, and there are these disasters that have happened no matter what we come up with, but that said, let's build something together. And I really like that idea, and it's not something that I've done before. I have kind of come up with, like, I do usually ask, like, you know, what beer are you guys drinking, what's the name of the brand, and all this kind of stuff, like what's the name of this tavern and the odd thing here and there. But I like the idea of people having a bit more of a tangible hold on things with the campaign, so I'm excited to see how that will work.
Sorry, I was wrong because of the time delay. Aldrin was saying, "Well, no, get back from the ASMR," so they felt you're warm.
No,
sorry guys, you're on a bit of a delay, so I sometimes get a bit confused when I see the messages because we're like 30 seconds behind y'all.
Yeah, don't worry.
So apparently there's 24 episodes already. It was the largest crowd-funded project for an animated series, and then Amazon have bought them up for a second season.
Oh wow! Is it already available?
The movie is going to be Hollywood making something they know nothing about.
Yeah, probably.
Aldrin says it'll have US Marines in it or something.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. I mean, we can all hope, but we'll see, huh? I mean, if Michael Bay gets involved, then we just know it's going to be a travesty. Do we know who's directing it and stuff? Has someone stayed on long enough to be concretely the director of what it's going to be? I don't know. I haven't really been following it because, again, like the chances of it being awful are so high. But I will say, like, the upside of 5e at least is that they put a lot of time into marketing it. And, you know, their sort of like community management team and all this kind of stuff is pretty good, I think. So we'll see. You never know. They might, at least on the D&D, on the Wizards of the Coast side of things, I think they would have provided some good info. Whether or not that actually translates into producer speak well or not is going to be yet to be seen. I don't know.
Sorry. Steve says it'll probably go very poorly. He talked about his campaign. Our last campaign was dominated by the same Willy joke, and that was just made me laugh because I thought I haven't heard anyone say Willy. Like,
I love
like,
that that's where we're
really,
at right now.
Really young kids.
Dear, oh dear.
Yeah, it seems like nobody's getting their hopes up for the D&D movie.
Yeah.
But that means that there's room for us to be blown away by how awesome it is.
Yeah, it could go that way.
York said, have you had the chance to check out Fantastic Planet, the movie with the giant blue aliens that helped inspire the Moon Giants?
I've not. I mean, actually, you know what? I did see some bits of it, and it was a little bit too weird for me to kind of get into. There's a lot less story than the other project they worked on. What was that? The Gandahar, which I really loved. But yeah, it's a cool concept. It's cool to look at, very cool visuals. But that's a weird film, Yorick. That is a weird ass film.
Moonring says, I think it's directed by the new Spider-Man movie makers. Is that Into the Spider-Verse, or am I way behind?
No, Into the Spider-Verse is
that the most recent one?
Yeah, because I think Jon Favreau directed the Marvel Cinematic Universe ones. So if it's directed by the guys who did the Miles Morales films, the Spider-Verse things, then that's pretty encouraging. That's pretty cool because they did a good job.
Yeah, that does. Dawson Norman says, what are your recommendations for starting up a D&D YouTube channel? The plan is currently is me and a friend are going to start one up through the summer.
Oh, that sounds really cool. So I would say a really good way to go about it would be to try and think of what's not being done right now. There's a combination of what do you want to talk about? What's the thing that you can't resist constantly doing or talking about in regards to D&D, and then also presenting it in a way that other people are not doing, because otherwise you might end up sort of becoming lost amongst the crowd, if that makes sense. If there's something like I found that when I started, people weren't really drawing the creatures and talking about their lore, for example. People were talking about their lore and things, but like the sort of fresh angle that I thought I was kind of bringing to it was being an artist as well. If there's something like that you guys can sort of bring with it, a new spin or some interesting ideas like that would be really cool. I would say try not to get too bogged down with the algorithm, because it's not really your friend. It's not like there'll be a point a few months in where you'll get a really big boost, and that is an intentional thing on YouTube's part to make you work harder at trying to please the algorithm, and then that goes away. So that is, don't be fooled by it. Just work to a level that you can maintain. Don't stress yourself out. Don't burn yourself out for trying to appease a mathematical formula. Just do what you can, what makes sense to you. And the most important thing, by a huge margin, is talk to the people who are watching your content, because they're going to tell you what they want to see. Don't post and drop. Don't post and then leave your content by the wayside, because it's. I've met a few people during doing this YouTube thing that have been the kind of fake it till you make it. I'm going to pretend that I have a huge audience and then they will come kind of thing. And that attitude really doesn't work. Just be you. It's very posery, and it's very just not fun to talk to. Just be you. Make the content that you want to make, because that's the stuff that you'll be most passionate about and most excited to continue making, and people will see your excitement in the stuff that you are making, basically. So don't make it for anyone else, but do talk to the people who are watching it, and just make what you justifiably can. Yeah.
Because I think when you started out, we had a few ideas based on like what's the content you want to see that you can't find anywhere.
Yeah.
Because I was new to D&D, I wasn't particularly a gamer and stuff, and I wanted to know the lore, I wanted to have the visuals, and I felt like a lot of things weren't very accessible to me. They weren't really my style and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we talked about you doing that kind of content and stuff like that.
Yeah, that ended up being.
And I think if you
right
know
us.
who your audience, your ideal audience is,
Yeah.
it will really help narrow that down. There's some speculation that Joe Manganiello will probably be in it, because he's been screaming about a D&D film for a while.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Apparently Hugh Grant is in it, which I actually think Hugh Grant is an evil character. Older, current day Hugh Grant, I think could be quite good casting actually, because he can really chew it.
Yeah, I have to say Hugh Grant in oh god, what was it that we watched him in most recently? In Charlie Brooker's
Weird.
Thanks Wipe or whatever it was called for
Yeah.
COVID. Now that was really good, and it was just him kind of like having fun and being not the sort of like goody sort of rom-com character that he's usually portrayed as, and that was really good to see. I would love to see him sort of being snobby and perhaps evil and stuff.
Have a bit of venom too.
Yeah, because think how well David Tennant did. As soon as like I can now no longer picture David Tennant as Doctor Who. I only see him as the Purple Man in Jessica Jones, because he did such a good job, and I just want to see him as villains forever now.
He does do villains.
He's so
really
good. He was so good. Yeah.
He did a really good. There's a BBC program where he was like this real kind of evil stalker ex of the main character, and he was terrifying in it. Hugh Grant equals Vecna.
Oh my god, yeah, that would be great. I'd love to see that. I think he'd make an amazing Strahd, actually. Hugh Grant as Strahd would be fantastic.
Where did I see this? Have you seen the new MTG?
Magic Gathering, yeah.
Okay, Forgotten Realms cards.
I've heard of them, but I don't actually collect Magic the Gathering cards. I love the art, and so kind of keep up roughly. So I don't know what they are like to use, if that makes sense. But I like the idea of it, especially if it means more D&D art. Like, especially, I love art books, and I really want to collect all of the Magic the Gathering art books, basically.
Aldrin's got to go. Thanks for joining us, Aldrin.
Thank you so much for joining us. Cheers for being here.
And I noticed a little further up, Goop has joined us, dropped in a bit late. Sorry about that. What did I miss?
Don't worry about it.
Do you want to recap that, Josh?
Yeah, so we have been making merfolk together, and they are going to be a sort of fusion of a few different aquatic creatures based on everyone's suggestions, which we're kind of randomly rolling. And we are currently in the process of making a Dunkleostus meets Sturgeon merfolk lady, and then we're going to make another Mer-Creature after this, basically. But this is how it's going, and it's pretty grim looking. But I'm going to try and pull it back. I might make it a little bit beautiful. We'll see. Because there was a lot of call for maybe making things slightly less horrific than usual, and I'm down for that. I've got time for that, basically. I think I need to maybe make a few more little
Catman says, I can only picture Tennant as a curmudgeonly old dog. Do you know that? I don't know.
Oh,
Is
you
he
know what?
voiced
He's in, what's it called?
Like, I'm only picturing like Scrooge McDuck.
That's it. Yeah, he's Scrooge.
He's
He's
Scrooge
Scrooge
no.
McDuck in the new. They've made new episodes
Really?
of it. Yeah, which is exactly what they're talking about. Yeah.
Oh no, right, okay, yeah, I'm getting the Donald Duck voice confused. Scrooge McDuck just had a normal sort of Scottish, probably terrible with hindsight accent, but
well, they've got an actual Scottish person doing it now, at least. I don't know who they had
nice.
last time, but yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Dawson's asking how long the suggestion list is. So we actually
We have to cap it at 20.
yeah, we made a list of 20 at the beginning, and we're rolling randomly to pick the two. So we're not taking any suggestions for this one.
Yeah.
At the moment.
Future ones.
But future ones, yeah.
Right. Let's see.
The mermaid kind of reminds me of a pretty 5e Mero.
Mero, yeah. Are they not merfolk? Is that not what a Mero is in 5e?
I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Irish as a mermaid. An Irish merman or mermaid. It is of Hiberno English origin.
Speaking of, I just finished doing some research today on the Nukaleve, however you want to say it. So I've been working on that Monster Monday video, which is a decent ways off, I think, but it's still fully researched now. I'm going to do some sort of like homebrew stuff to go alongside it, but that was what I spent today doing actually, and was genuinely great fun getting to do some actual sort of like Scottish or Orcadian, I suppose, to be specific, mythology, and using that as influence. So it was nice to do some sort of Celtic adjacent stuff today. Don't often, I mean, I get to do the odd thing here or there, but I'm interested in doing quite a lot more. I'd love to do, you know, Fomorians and other sort of like Scottish and Irish legends. Be fantastic. Excited to draw it though. I really want to actually get drawing that creature.
I'll catch you up on some of these.
Yeah.
How have you caught the latest Subjectively is Mer-May?
Sorry?
Have you caught the latest of Subjectively? Is that a show or?
I don't know.
If you could let us know a bit more about
Yeah,
that.
that's news
They're
to me.
terrifically terrifying.
Mm.
Cabman said, I'll have to find a sketch. I had a hagfish mermaid
Oh,
with viscous slime dried hair. That sounds really cool.
grim but
Maybe if
brilliant.
you've got Instagram or something, you could tag
Yeah,
the caption in.
definitely share that with us. That'd be fantastic.
Icarus is replying to Goop saying, I was going to mention Magic Jack's Mer-May. Are you familiar with that?
No.
We're obviously not very clued in on the
Yeah.
Rappletex in Hydro.
Hey.
Oh, Meadow or Merfolk corrupted by the Demogorgon.
Oh, okay.
I play them as the Gnolls of the Sea. That's cool.
Ah, that's cool. I have heard that they were like in some way tied to ogres in some capacity in previous editions. But other than that, that's as much as they've come up in my sort of research online. I've never actually done like a very sea-based campaign.
Wait, sorry, are the Devil Rays Merrows?
Oh, sorry? No?
Devil Ray? Is that?
The Devil Rays, the
Yeah.
thing.
So Moonring says, remember the X. I wonder if Google can pronounce that. Let me see if Google can pronounce this for me. Because I want to learn it. And my phone's like, can I pronounce this?
I heard the word Google and it's like, yeah.
It's always listening.
Yeah.
No, it can't pronounce that, so neither can I, I'm afraid.
Oh, well. Never mind.
The Devil Ray are the Demogorgon's real homie.
Oh.
Joe's suggesting that you can make some good mermaid soup from her. Don't know if that's
good.
Cannibalistic.
Yeah.
Subjectively is an art channel which talks about the design process of drawing.
Oh.
Magic Jack is the primary uploader for the channel.
That sounds cool.
Need to check that one out.
Yeah.
Moonring saying Devil Rays are better than Merrow. Right, sorry, I'm misreading you.
Okay, right.
Oh, less than Merrow. Okay, right, sorry. I thought it was like equals.
Let's see if I've got any bits missing out here.
Joe, I feel like that's not the first time you've brought up trying to eat some of these characters.
Yeah. I don't wanna judge, but you know, sort it out, mate. don't be eating sentient fish beasts.
I mean, it looks more like it would eat you.
Yeah. There is that.
Oh, it's a chittle. Is that how you say it? It's a chittle.
Oh, okay.
I feel like I need to like write that on my laptop or something so that I can
I have sticky notes for next time.
Because it goes past every week and then I remember it and I'm like,
yeah, I'll remember it next time, kind of thing. Right, let's see. Can I start colouring this bad boy?
Right, that is getting stuck to my laptop. I bet it doesn't come up again now.
Yeah, you'll learn it for next time. It's like, no. Right, okay, that's looking good. We've got some bits.
I feel like I missed out on a lot of dinosaur pronunciation as a kid because I don't know. Wasn't really into Jurassic Park and stuff, so I never got.
Yeah.
Joe says anything that would eat me is fair game for a burger.
No, I disagree, but you know my thoughts on it. Okay, right. Let's get some sturgeon.
That's how I'm going to say it, Steve, because that seems easier.
Okay. We'll do a sturgeon-y colour palette, which is largely going to be pretty similar to what I've got actually, but we'll see how it goes. So let's do edit and do eraser. That really can't. There you go. Let's get that back on the overlay mode. Yep. And then we can start colouring this. So we've got some greys, we've got a kind of white looking belly, and then we've got some really interesting diamond patterns and black stripes, which would be very, very cool. So let's go for this kind of white stomach pattern, which I will put through here. Maybe a bit lighter as well. I might actually blend that out as well. There we go. Yeah, I will blend that out because I'm also going to add some pinks to these fins. They have a sort of pinkish hue to the fins, which is very interesting. Not completely, but a tiny bit. I wonder if I can add that same pink to the hands a little bit, maybe. Blur that.
Oh, sorry, I've missed a few things here.
Oh, okay.
Goop says, bit of an unconventional suggestion, but may I suggest a surfboard construct mermaid for the next design?
A surfboard construct. Oh, that's pretty interesting. We'll see how the dice roll.
I'm imagining like if it gets blended with like as a human, it could be quite just like a screaming mess. Just,
oh god, yeah.
End it for now. York says, fun fact, during the Silver Age of comics, Spider-Man dated a mermaid named Laurie Lemaris.
Oh, right.
Hashtag Superman double L conspiracy confirmed. Oh, like Lois Lane.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Oh, he only dates with people called LL? Isn't his name like Kal-El?
Yeah, Kal-El.
LL.
Which, interestingly, Nicolas Cage's son is called Kal-El Cage. Because he's a big Superman fan. Because of course it is.
Goop says, Laurie Lemaris sort of sounds like the Daisy to Lois Lane's Peach.
Yes. From Super Mario.
Oh, okay. Wow, I don't get any of these references.
Yeah, right.
I'm obviously the best person for this job of reading all these out. I'm like, someone that I don't know is something.
It's okay. Just because you're not into video games doesn't mean you're missing out.
Guys, I promise this character is different. Her name is Laurie.
Oh man, yeah. I have to say, like, over my birthday weekend, we watched all the extended cuts of the Lord of the Rings.
4 hours each.
4 hours each. And the idea that, like, the guy playing Gandalf the Grey just, like, rolls up his new character when it dies. As no, it's Gandalf the White, totally different character. Just like, why are the stats the same? Why does he still have a staff? Oh no, that's just coincidence.
I'd be quite curious to know actually, for the folks in the chat, do you have like a character cliche or personality trait that comes up in all your different characters, like that you just can't help? Like, I feel like the running theme in my characters are always that they're inept / can't help, won't help, sort of useless, don't count them in combat kind of thing. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters that you make that have to just balance the challenge rating of the party without them.
Yeah, it's interesting to see what comes out of your subconscious when you making these characters, and I've discovered that unhelpful is like the
yeah, your number one favourite thing.
Let's see. Gandalf kill-stealed that Balrog.
He totally did kill-steal the Balrog. Thank you. Yes. Despicable selfishness from that player.
What do you do for that actually? I don't know that's really happened to us, but you kind of spread it out across us all.
I do generally tend to spread it out amongst the group, but I think in that case I probably would give it to that one player. If no one else contributed at all, and the risk of death was that high, you know, I think I probably would just reward that one player. We'll see. But then we tend not to get into combat that much, and if we do, people end up losing limbs and stuff. So the group has learnt to largely stay together as a group.
Yeah, I mean, if James had taken out Baba Yaga, would he have got all of his points?
Hell yeah, he would have. Yeah. One of our players took on Baba Yaga by himself. As like a level 6 or something, and Baba Yaga had stats as like a level, like, challenge rating 30 monster or something, like a goddess of witches, and it was just, he was surprised when he got beat. I was not. So
okay, so Icarus says, most of my characters end up being asexual, but I decided with my last one it's going to be the complete opposite. Like, make it interesting. York says, my characters are often either furbolgs or have either Superman-like senses of justice or Punisher levels of cruelty.
I see.
So quite
stark
contrast there.
Yeah.
Icarus,
very value-driven, whether it's good or evil values. Icarus says, I usually design characters around fun themes with a lot of mechanical detail that doesn't actually make them broken or really all too powerful. Yeah.
Cabman says, oblivious to social norms in some inconsequential but frustrating to the NPC way. Yes.
Yeah, that's always a good one. That's always a good one.
I'm into that.
Yeah, oblivious to social norms is always good. It depends whether or not it crossed over into being like aggravating in social situations, or if it's like just humorous though. And I think you strike a really good balance with your characters in that. Not just saying that because you're my wife, but you know, it's I like your characters. They're always really weird though.
I don't know what to talk about. I usually have to make quite forgetful characters because I have terrible memory. I can never remember what happened to me before. And very helpfully and fairly, Josh has now introduced the thing where you get was it XP for
not XP, it's
inspiration for
like a luck dice. There's a kind
Yeah.
of luck dice for people.
For the person that remembers the most from the last session.
Yeah.
Oh,
To make an incentive for people who have poor memory problems to maybe take notes.
I did take notes, I just don't remember where I left my notebook.
Yeah.
That's not even a joke.
The number of times that I've had to give you on a new character sheet because she's forgotten where she put her character sheet last time is just.
And then we moved to digital copies, and I just kept forgetting to hit save, so
Yeah.
that didn't help with frustration.
Oh, wow.
Steve said, "I've only ever played once,
Really?
but a lot of NPCs are based on someone or something I find funny. Last campaign, I had a bookshop run by D&D, Dylan Moran and Bill Bailey. That's cool.
Oh, hell yeah!
That's
yeah.
cool.
So Black Books is actually based on a real comic book shop. I don't know if you know this, but it's in Edinburgh, which is where we used to live, and it is a real place.
Yeah.
I once went in there while it was flooding, and the guy who runs it just didn't seem to acknowledge that was happening. He also had Marijuana Man, his own like homebrewed like superhero, as the mascot of the shop for a time, and didn't see that was maybe a little bit weird. So, you know.
Yeah, I used to work in a bookshop, and people would be like, "Oh my god, that must be so fun." And I'd be like, "Black books," and it's like, "No, because we make money."
yeah. I don't think he's ever really sold a comic.
He says, "If I need inspiration, I'll look at magic cards and think about the question of who or what this person would be." That's a great idea.
That's a really good idea. That's a really great idea.
Steve says, "Coming up, I have a wizard who is basically Stuart Lee." That's really
Ooh,
cool.
that's cool.
Yeah, I try and like base mine on a pop culture reference so that I can sort of be like, what would, like, my most recent one was Ralph Wiggum, and within the first sort of 10 minutes, one of the players was like, "Is this Ralph Wiggum?"
Are you playing Ralph?
And,
Yeah.
what? No.
How could you possibly know? Yeah.
Edgar says, "Currently a transgender tiefling bard, College of Screams level 6,
College
and
of Dreams.
Fiend patron Warlock 3, whose patron is his sponsor, Grazd,
Oh, Graz, nice. Okay.
and his manager is his Pact of the Chain familiar.
Oh, that's really cool. What a great idea.
The rest of his band and roadies are undead summoned by Create Undead."
Oh, nice.
Cool.
That's really, really awesome. That sounds like a really cool campaign. Are the rest of the players in your group also coming up with sort of contemporary kind of band themed characters, or is your character sort of like a standout? What's the idea of your campaign?
Ring is asking, "Have you guys ever played any of the Elder Scrolls games?"
Yes, I love the Elder Scrolls games. I was flabbergasted to find out, according to Reddit today, that as of today or yesterday, it has been the same amount of time since Skyrim came out as it was the time difference between when Skyrim and Morrowind came out. So not Oblivion, but Morrowind. So we are Morrowind years old in terms of the Skyrim game right now, which makes me feel incredibly old. But also, that's kind of cool. But yes, no, I'm very looking forward to the next one coming out, whenever that happens. Although I don't hold out much hope for it after what's been going on with Fallout. So we'll see if it's going to be good. I hope it is. I really hope it is.
How are you getting on with the drawing now?
Getting on good. I'm going to maybe add some like real colour to her hair because I've pretty much done her now for the most part, and she's real grey. She's not very vibrant. So I'm thinking like an ombre of kind of like pink to teal or something like that would be really nice, as something very vibrant. So let's see what I can pull out here to have maybe a bit of contrast.
York says, "I think it's a little funny how both you and I would have liked to worked Captain Atom if given the chance."
Yeah, Captain Atom is fantastic. Lesser known, maybe lesser known, lesser loved, I suppose. Lesser loved superhero. that I really enjoyed. There were some really great comics that came out for Captain Atom, but they were never quite canonical stories. They always took place in like another universe other than the DC comics and stuff like that. It's like, come on, give us a chance, give us something. I like the idea of an atom bomb basically being personified in a person, and this whole dichotomy between what he thought was right and also being so bound to military training, and does he do what the government tells him to do, or does he do what feels right? And it's like the difference between lawful good and just good. So I think there's some good stories to tell there. What's everybody else got planned for their week? So we're just starting off. I know the days are kind of blending in together during the pandemic, but if you've got any momentous things going on this week, I'd love to hear.
Okay, Chris says, my character just arrived and joined the group after a holiday in real life, and my OG character left, who was an illusionist warforged government agent, but the group's kind of anti-government, so I chose Total Anarchy. But yeah, fun game, a lot of trouble with Titans at the moment, and people trying to free them, whilst my boy is just kind of being drawn in when he just wants to finish his tour.
Cool.
Sorry if I've garbled that there.
That's okay.
If they were a government agent, they could be a spannerist and throw a spanner in the whole system.
That's fantastic. Bravo.
Yeah, as a plot hook, something.
You can have some pun points there. You can have an inspiration point for that.
Minring asks, what are your favourite Daedric princes from the Elder Scrolls? Mine is Daedric Prince Periite.
I don't know that one off the top of my head.
Group says the newer Hyperion comics from Marvel have a similar vibe to Captain Atom.
Oh, that's cool.
And Grant Train's joined us. Hi, Grant.
Hi, Grant. I kind of like that colour palette, actually. That's pretty nice. Let's get some more vibrancy on the go. And then
I'm working on aqua scraping my tank. That's cool, Minring.
What does that involve for you?
Yeah.
Because I know you've got your little shrimps. Oh, I quite like the yellow, actually. That's quite nice.
Steve says, last week of a 2-month sabbatical this week, been recuperating after caring for my mum throughout 2020. Oh, I hope she's doing okay, Steve. What have you been doing on your sabbatical? Oh, sorry. I thought you meant like a holiday after looking after your mum. And you've been taking a sabbatical to look after your mum. Okay. Oh, Grant's asking, is this a sea hag? Do you want to just explain?
So we are making merfolk, mer-creatures today, and I'm using fusions of various real-world sea creatures fused with humanoids to make a mer-creature that's a little bit unusual, basically. So the first sort of fusion suggestion was a mermaid who was kind of a little bit not hagfish, a little bit, what was it, sturgeon, and a little bit Dunkleostus was the other one. So we've got some pretty grim parts in there, but still managed to make a mer-creature out of it. I'm just adding a little bit of...
Oh, Grant's building a games club in central Scotland. Just got £2,000 funding. Whereabouts in Scotland are you, Grant? Goop says, I have a session of my ongoing Curse of Strahd game tonight. It was started by one of the players to give me a break from DMing.
Oh.
Now I play a changeling himbo warlock.
Fantastic.
And I've just seen what you've done with the colour there. It's looking really good.
Thank you very much. I'm just gonna.
Gavin said I got my second shot the other day, but I shall be hiking in some lovely wilderness to work on a few of the hiking in some of the lovely wilderness for work on a few of the less rainy days, hopefully.
Good stuff. Okay, so I'm satisfied that is our first Mer-Creature down. We've got a good fusion there, I think. Are you happy enough with that one, do you think? And we should start on Mer Part 2?
Yeah, I think that's looking pretty badass.
Yeah, I'm liking that.
I'm liking the high hairline as well. That's quite terrifying.
Yeah, because they have these, like, Dunkleosters have these, like, when I say hammerheads, not like, oh, we should have put hammerhead shark in the list. Damn it. Oh well, we got to 20. We can't put any more in. It's all, yeah. Otherwise, there's too many cool creatures in the sea. Too many cool creatures in the sea. Yeah. But I'll do a Monster Monday on merfolk at some point, and I'll make my own horrible mess out of them. But yeah, that's a good part one of a Mer-Creature. Shall we see what we get?
Would you like me to random roll again?
I think so. Hang on here. Let me just get my... Yeah, there we go. So give me 2 D20s.
Keeps his fingers crossed for the surfboard folk. Alright. So your first one, hey, it's a crit, natural 20.
Oh, starfish. Okay.
Oh my god.
No, that's going to be cool. That's going to be cool.
Really?
I promise you. I can
see,
make
that's
it
the
work.
difference between us. You see that and you're like interested, and I'm like, oh my god, how the hell would you make a starfish?
Okay, and give me another one.
Oh, 20 again. Let's not do that.
Oh, yeah, okay, yep.
Starfish. Half starfish, half starfish.
It's just a starfish. Yeah.
7.
7 is an octopus. Octopus, starfish.
God.
This is gonna be cool. Okay, I've got this one. I don't even have to be unsure about how this is gonna work. And I think I can probably. I'm not gonna say beautiful for sure, but I think I can make that work. Okay. Let me have a quick think. Okay, right, we're good.
Cavman says even had some kind of elvish or drowish looks to it,
Yeah, definitely.
I love her, she looks fierce. Next up, Hammerhead Manatee.
Hammerhead Manatee.
Oh, Grant's just north of Dundee.
Oh, nice.
Tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, that would be lovely.
Cool.
We'll definitely come and visit if we're out that way.
Could go for a Starro the Conqueror sort of vibe.
Yes, yeah, very much.
So there's a point. We actually don't have a name for this lady yet, and usually you guys are all over it with the names.
Yeah,
so.
actually, yeah. Maybe we should come up with names to them. I wasn't like sort of shouting names earlier on, but I think that's a very good call. Right, let's get. I tell you what, I'm gonna. No, let's not make her invisible yet.
Moonring says, "Are you thinking of making a Dark Lord from the Ravenloft? Dark Lord creation. I was thinking of making a Were-Snail Dark Lord."
I mean, I would, but Were-Snail is now taken, so what a fantastic idea, and how mental.
Tentacular.
Oh yeah. Beautiful.
Is anyone else in here from Scotland as well, Capman? I noticed you mentioned about walking in the rain. Is that a bit of a clue? Nobody say Nicola, don't do it. Don't think about Nicola. Oh, groups like Nicola. Oh, that's a good point. Icarus says, I love how big the lady would be in my mind's eye, being huge giant whilst the man being hobbit sized. Because what's that fish where the
anglerfish?
Yes, the anglerfish. The difference between the male and female anglerfish is crazy.
Yeah.
It's basically just like a growth, like a little shriveled growth.
Apparently they didn't think a male anglerfish existed. They just thought there was like some hermaphroditic way of breeding until they found that the little parasitic things that were growing on all the female ones.
I wish I could share images to this chat because it's, unbelievable.
It's amazing though. Oh god, the urge to just do Squidward is so high.
Usisi for the name. Maria Belladonna Undertow. I really like Undertow as a second name for a creature, a sea creature. That's great. It looks like a Janice to me.
Janice, oh my goodness.
Calves in the Pacific Northwest. Just about lunchtime.
Oh, I'll be having a good lunch.
I do forget there rains in other parts of the world. I'm like, rain, you must be Scottish.
We do get an awful lot of rains, to be fair.
Oh, and Steve's in East Anglia. I've been to Edinburgh a few times.
Nice, there you go.
Icarus says, I mean, if I were to be reincarnated as a male anglerfish, I wouldn't complain.
I really would.
Apparently the difference between the male and female anglerfish grows more and less apparent as they age. That's from Cav. Janice Undertow. Yeah, I feel like that's that's a solid, like, you know, when you hear names and you think, wow, that sounds like a fantasy character, and then you hear other names in real life and you're like, you would never find that in a book. No one's ever going to name a character that. Janice is like a solid. Janice Undertow sounds like a solid earth.
I really want you to write a campaign.
No, you don't. I did write a campaign for your birthday once, and all the characters ended up killing themselves because I couldn't handle the situation and improvising. So that didn't work.
Yeah, it's fine.
Galetta. Steve said you'd only complain briefly though.
Bravo.
Apparently in the Midwest it's very similar to Scotland and Ireland in terms of
really
very wet and mild temperature and more needly trees. Ring says, by the way, you can make a were-snail Dark Lord. You have my permission.
Oh, thank you very much.
Smiley face. I know that was snail.
Excellent. Alright, well, I know what my next campaign is then. Let's make that hand a bit smaller, because right now he can slap his own face off.
Lorica. That's pretty cool.
Lorica's pretty cool. I like that. Sounds like it would be an anagram.
But it's bedtime for Icarus. You've done really well, man.
Well done.
Thanks for hanging on
You
in
survived
there.
even my really cringeworthy ASMR segment, so well done.
And Capman says, oh, and bears and cougars. Yeah, we definitely don't have them over here.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Oh, so Grant's back. He's saying the club is called Square Game. Game Square, even.
Game Square.
The Square Games look totally different. We have yet to have an in-person meeting, but we have been running scavenger hunts in the town to build interest. I've been running D&D groups online as well. That sounds really cool.
Yeah.
He's also saying starfish out his back. Yeah, where are you putting the starfish element here?
So I was actually going to use kind of like starfish, like a kind of breastplate kind of growing in various places, and kind of like have the kind of like starfish, sometimes they have ridges and stuff all over.
Okay, I was thinking, well, on your screen you're further ahead. What I can see at the moment, it looks like you might be going for like Patrick Star style legs.
Alright, just kind of like,
just
you can only starfish out, yeah.
Starfish
yeah, okay, I get you. Don't you worry. I just want to make a kind of
Have any of you guys been listening to Josh's Albinoria series where he's talking about the campaign that we're playing in currently?
Yeah, that's pretty fun. I've got one of those to make for next month that I've not actually started on yet. I'm excited about it.
Here's a question about your world. May I ask how common lycanthropy is in your world? In my world, it's little rarer than chickenpox.
Oh.
Were rats especially
That's cool.
are very common. Okay, so if it's comparable to chickenpox, I'd be a werewolf.
Would
you be a werewolf?
I would almost certainly be a werewolf. It is much less common than that, and I tend to only use werewolves so far. I don't know. I'm trying to. I don't use werewolves as they are in the game right now. I tend to use like the monstrous kind of werewolf. There's no sentience in it. It's almost like turning into the Hulk kind of thing. So they kind of have to be rare because there's a relative power scale that goes with that. But I use the stats from the various Mer-Creatures to represent different types of werewolf, if that makes sense. So I've not really included them too frequently, and actually I included them in my last campaign, so I've not actually introduced werewolves in this game, I don't think, which is unlike me because I usually go straight for that kind of thing.
Yark says, yes, I forgot to mention that if given chance, I would have loved to have written an alternate universe Marvel book where the Deviants and Eternals are the final stage of human evolution.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
Steve says starfish limbs were hands and fingers.
Oh, that's a really nice idea, actually.
When we were kids, we found a starfish on the beach, and rather cruelly, although we didn't realise at the time, took it home as a pet, called Five Alive.
Five Alive? What?
Yeah. It was. It's kind of hard to tell if they're living or not, really, when you keep it in a bucket in your garden.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
Sorry, like just came flooding back to me there. It was just like flashbacks. Right. Moonring says, I'm sad there are no official Jaws Wereshark themed Dark Lord domain.
I think that just gives you an option to make your own, But yeah, I do get you. That does seem like a missed opportunity. I think that's where I'm going to leave that for the time being. I'm just going to get started on the line work because I have some good ideas for that.
Maybe if you use like a brighter colour for your line work this time, just to make it easier for maybe a bright pink or something.
Sure.
If that's not too distracting.
I find that personally quite hard to deal with. I just have like a very regimented process.
Oh, no worries. Let me interfere with the process.
Sorry. I just only have one way of working.
No, I'm not being facetious, I'm being genuine.
Alright, okay.
Can anyone think of any alternative connections between these two? Maybe out with the boyfriend girlfriend situation?
Yeah, good point, because I feel like this guy seems a little bit already too happy-go-lucky, and she seems like a terrifying warrior, so I don't think they would probably get on too well. Do you want to do that?
Grant is suggesting the horseshoe crab, which I just had to Google, and it does. Yeah, that would have been a great one to include in the original list.
That would have been fantastic.
Moonring says drug dealer. Oh, and Steve's bought your DM shirt. Absolute class.
Thank you very much.
Excellent. Has it arrived yet, Steve? Catman says his larval worm was stuck to one of her osteodermal plates for a bit when he was younger.
Oh, grim.
Good cop, bad cop.
Oh yeah, that does seem good.
Oh my god, yeah, like Sharky and George. We dated.
Oh my god.
As planets with oceans are far more common than planets with atmospheres, what do you imagine life to look like on worlds like Europa?
Wow.
That is a question.
I think mostly jellyfish-like, I would imagine, because things without bones generally tend. I mean, there's a lot more things without bones in the world than there are with. So sort of maybe something amoeboid or jellyfish-like. You know, jellyfish has been largely unchanged since, you know, the Precambrian or anything like that. So maybe something like that would survive well in a high or low pressure. I can't really think. Is Europa a low pressure? Either way, yeah, whatever pressure. I imagine something like that would survive really well.
York says perhaps she is his bodyguard, which is a really cool.
That's a nice idea.
Our rival politicians, says Grant.
Oh yeah, yeah, I can see that.
Just noticed the moustache that you're giving him. Interesting. Do you see are you seeing it as a moustache or like little limbs that you can sort of pick things up and feed himself with?
Why not both? Little a dexterous little beard of tentacles.
That's a good question for you. Any monster recommendations for a river encounter?
Ooh.
Steve has said nematodes.
It depends what level your players are even. I do love to throw a frog hemoth at people if I can. They're always good, and also you get to say the word frog hemoth, which is, you know, a blessing in itself. I kind of reskin the Kuotoa quite a lot for river encounters because it reminds me of the Murlocs in World of Warcraft, and they're mostly kind of like there's a lot of river-based Murloc encounters early on in the game, so that's always a bit of fun. Otherwise, again, Celtic mythology always has a lot of really great things. You can always make a kind of like pseudo water horse style encounter to draw people away. It's a great idea to make a river something really threatening in of itself, so it doesn't necessarily have to be a fight, but like trying to get a caravan worth of goods across a river used to be a really daunting task that people would genuinely reconsider. So maybe something like that, maybe like river rapids, or, you know, something similarly treacherous could be an issue for your players. Doesn't always have to be combat, I guess.
Right, so some other suggestions: so giant fish, water trolls. Steve
trolls
has
under a
been
bridge.
painting up his froghemoth mini.
Nice, excellent.
Bullywugs, or maybe froghemoths. Yep. Bridge troll, a troll bridge is always a classic.
Yeah.
They're level 5 at the moment. The river borders a grassland and an alpine forest. I love the garblers speak of the Morlocks.
Garblers speak of the Morlocks? Of Murlocs. Yes. Yeah, no, that is fantastic. The that they speak is fantastic.
Actually, did we not meet a character with that kind of voice at some point?
They used to be my text tone back when text tones were a thing. I had a.
Did you not
every
have
time
a
I got text.
character that does that as well? Or am I just thinking your text on?
I think you might just.
A group of bullywugs arguing with a troll about passage over his bridge. That's pretty cool.
That's a really nice idea. hope I put a character like that in the game.
I thought you'd use that voice on something, but like I said, bad memories. Europa is 22 kilometres deep. The ocean is. It's warmed by a geological process, so I imagine black smoker thermal vents would be a common source. On that note, black smoker plus roper.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, seems like a good call. I get a lot of sort of like shrimp and things. I suppose it's like things with an exoskeleton or things that don't need bones. Really would be kind of high up there. There was a really good Netflix TV series that came out not too long ago that was kind of like speculative zoology about other planets that I wish I could recommend because I wish I knew the name of it. But I don't know the name of it, unfortunately, off the top of my head. So maybe someone can help me there, but that would be a great call.
Do coral count as having bones?
Good point.
Oh, I've just seen that ear you're doing. That's disgusting. Just
a little octopus valve.
round hole in the side of his head. I mean, I know that's kind of what ears are without the lugs, but
yeah, it's just a little valve.
Is that what you call those bits? Lugs?
I don't call ears lugs in any capacity. That's just a Scottish thing.
Is that not just the outer bit of your ear?
No.
No. Okay.
That's just a Scottish thing, but it's very sweet.
Do coral count as bones? I don't know. Is it as strong as bone?
I don't think it is. I think it's still calcium carbonate, so it's like the same stuff, really? I don't know if that counts. Actually, I quite want to give this guy really long tentacly hair now.
Can you just have like a single tentacle out of his head, like a unicorn? Just like one.
I'm looking at where I've put him, and I don't think I've actually left enough room for hair, and I don't want to go back and change the whole sketch because that's a pain in the ass. So we'll give him the nodules that I'd intended to give him, the little starfish ridges.
Oh, Capman says the Netflix one is Alien Worlds, and those ears would be called siphons.
Siphons, yes.
The Netflix ones.
There you go. Myrtle's being suspiciously quiet tonight.
This is the quietest Myrtle's ever been on a live stream.
Yeah, usually she's like really going for it as soon as we start.
It's because Aldrin's left.
Ah, yes.
She usually kicks her with us.
Yeah, that's true.
Aldrin can
The
top player.
yeah.
Your merman reminds me of a Marids.
Merid, yeah.
Marids.
Yeah, I suppose so.
What be a Marid?
I don't know off the top of my head, but I've seen the image in the player's handbook. Again, I think they're more like what I thought merfolk are, but I don't know off the top of my head. Basically, if I don't make a Monster Monday about it and I've not used it in a campaign, I almost certainly don't know what it is.
The Alien Planet is one done a while back that's similar, but following one robot drone on one planet called Darwin. Maybe,
yeah.
I believe, in a similar vein, the future is wild.
That sounds cool.
Oh, it does look like a Marid, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, there's some pretty cool. Just looking at the images that are coming up for that. So how many of you guys create your own artwork for your characters? Is that something that you do?
Yeah, I'd be interested to see, because I know some of them do. Or concept sketches if you're a DM, maybe. Of what you want your campaign world to feel like, or things that you want to have in it.
Yorick says, no, I'm still not good enough.
Oh, I like your drawings, Yorick.
I think coral sort of is bones, really. Bones contain marrow and all sorts. The bone we think of is just the rigid structure part.
I suppose maybe it's just different bone density, but...
yeah, so the future is wild, that Capman mentioned, which is loosely inspired by Dougal Dixon's Afterman, which is where is a major inspiration for Final Fantasy monsters, as it was popular enough to get multiple shows in Japan.
Afterman is a fantastic, fantastic book, and all the subsequent books that are related to it, absolutely brilliant, sort of speculative zoology type stuff, absolutely brilliant. I didn't know there was a TV series.
Capman says, I am better at monsters, but I've been practicing characters. Minring says, I don't draw characters, I usually just draw D&D monsters for fun.
That's cool. Starfish hands there.
Yep, pretty creepy.
Yeah, it might be me, guys. They look very vibrant and beautiful once I put some colours on them. That's, you know. Just had to pick the two sort of most gelatified creatures on the smorgasbord of weird monsters. That's all. If any of you guys had a chance to draw any creatures for Mer-May, I certainly haven't had a chance up until this point, but I do like Mer-Creature.
Yorick says, I absolutely love speculative zoology. I even did my own based on the future evolved forms of all real animals that appear in Minecraft.
Oh, that's
pretty
cool.
Grant says, I have both of those documentaries and another one on YouTube that's all CGI. I'm a big fan of Dougal Dixon and astrozoology as a whole. Caravan says, I have physical copies of Afterman and Man After Man, but if you dig that, All Tomorrows by C.S. Kozman and Nemo Ramjet is pretty good. And likely to be free online somewhere.
That's a cool idea. I've got a few collected sort of fantasy mythology kind of anatomical books now, actually, which are really worth a look, and I wish I could remember the name of any of them. One of them was The Resurrectionist, which is really, really great. I posted a few images of that on Instagram the other day, for the beginning of Mer-May, actually. But there was another one as well that did mermaids really, really well, and talked about them being like a kind of parasitic creature with a kind of humanoid creature that hops inside a fish's mouth, like that horrible kind of parasite thing that like takes over something's tongue, and then it like uses the fish as a kind of host, and that becomes its butt eventually, basically. So it was a really interesting take on it, but I can't remember what the name of that book is, but it is really, really good.
Moonring shared their DeviantArt name, which I've just looked up. It's really cool. I'm interested to know what would you call that style? It's kind of like, I want to say like bitmap art or something. It's like kind of pixel art. It's really cool. I'll show you it.
Yeah, please.
Keep it open for you after the show.
Yeah.
Kevin says the Spec, Evo and Paleo art communities seem both be growing and making some cool new content as of late. There's a number of channels now about it, like Bilbaradon.
I don't know that one.
I need to check that out.
Yeah.
I also really love Serena, which you can find online. This is Yorick.
Nice. Thank you very much.
Serena, sorry.
Yeah, I need to find some new stuff to watch. I'm running out of Mothlight Media videos to watch.
Yorick says, God damn it, it almost wiped my memory of those tongue parasites. Just keep coming up.
Yeah, once they're in there, they stick around, both mentally and inside the fish.
Moonring says, I don't know, I just use the square tool in Inkscape. I think it's really cool. I remember my dad used to come home with portraits for someone that did his work back when it was just like using Microsoft Paint and done in that kind of really takes so much work to do it like block by block like that. You would absolutely love some of the post-humans and all tomorrows, like the colonials.
Oh, this is definitely new to me.
Well, it sounds like there's a lot of rabbit holes to fall down.
Yeah.
If you go back and read through the comments.
Well, yeah, I've got lots of drawing and lots of research to do, so I have lots of my equivalent of podcasts, really. So I get to have a lot of fun stuff to research.
Talking of podcasts, does anyone listen to the podcast that Jeff Goldblum is joining?
Oh yeah.
Interested to know what you think of it all.
Yeah, the God, what's it called? Knives in the Dark.
Dark Dice or something.
Dark Dice, that's the one. Yeah, that was.
Does anyone listen to the Adventure Zone, bar Josh and I?
Yeah.
Is there any love for that out there?
Definitely, there's a big community online.
Oh yeah,
I really love it for sure. I don't know how popular it is amongst my group of.
Grip says the more pronounced spikes crossing the chest almost have the same silhouette of double bandoliers.
Yeah.
May suggest playing into that with some colour contrast or smaller starfish across it.
I will definitely do the color contrast. My brain's
You're
not
catching my tongue tie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hang on, I'll be back in a second.
No worries. I don't know why I wanted to draw an octopus, because I really hate drawing tentacles. It's anything repetitive, really. I have a issue with going back on myself. That's why I don't like drawing wings or tentacles or anything like that. Which is a shame, because I really like dragons and Lovecraft. So drawing these things is something that I have to do. Neatly join up over there. Oh, that's all. Yeah, that's potent.
Kevin says, I haven't listened in a while, but I listened all through the initial campaign Griffin ran as a DM. Yeah, so it's switched back to Griffin now, the new campaign. So we've done a few episodes where they're world building together using. Do you know the name of the game?
I can't remember the name of the board game.
Seems quite cool, like a collaborative way of building the landscape that they're going to work in.
Yeah, which seems a really cool idea.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about getting to do that at some point.
It's like Myrtle heard you say that she's not made much noise.
Yeah, so now she has to
Decided
just
to-
do a bit of snoring.
Do you see this creature as having like an octopus beak in the centre of all this?
Oh god, yeah. Yeah.
Or that horrible mouth that a starfish has maybe on the back.
So I've given it the horrible starfish mouth on the bottom of its hands.
Oh.
So I'm assuming that unfortunately, yes, Octobutt does have to be a thing. It has a beak butt, which is the worst idea.
So don't octopus usually propel themselves by sort of sucking water up into the upper portion and...
Yeah, so he farts himself through the sea, essentially.
Well, I wasn't going
is
to
where
say
we're
that,
at.
but does the upper part just like blow up? Contract.
I mean, he does now.
What are some of the old D&D monsters from past editions you would like to see in 5e? And hi to Patrick, has just joined us.
Hi Patrick. D&D creatures that I'd like to see from previous editions. To be honest, like most of the ones that I'm familiar with have already been introduced. I didn't play much of anything that hasn't really been reintroduced, to be perfectly honest. There's things that I'd like to have sort of like homebrewed, really, that I'd like to use a bit of, to be honest. I'd like there to be some more kind of constructs would be fantastic, really. And really I'd like to see a lot more kind of human things, if that makes sense. Like, you know, specialist humans, like types of guards, types of enemies and stuff, because the stories that I tend to tell don't feature a huge number of monsters, weirdly. I mean, they do feature monsters, but like usually it's like some person is a villain or a gang of people are villains and they have done this specific thing and they've got a hold of X, Y and Z and now they're kitted out with these specific tools. The sort of street level adventures are where my storytelling is best, are the stories I like to tell. So rather than, you know, I'm very disinterested in creatures with a power level that are too high. I'm not interested at all in like the biggest, strongest monsters. I just sort of like street level fights with interestingly armed humans, basically, is kind of where I'm at. Or humanoids, per se, I should say. So yeah, I don't know. There's been a few things like that introduced with like is it Volos or Modern Canaans? I can't really remember. Have a few kind of specialist NPC units that could be of any of the playable races, but really just that's kind of the thing I'm most interested in, seeing like specialist types of the player races that populate that world, because those are the kind of adventures that the kind of stories that I tell really are more based in what people do rather than what monsters do.
Patrick has a question for you.
Ooh,
I have never made any homebrew monsters. Would you be able to give me some pointers on how to make some?
Yeah, definitely. So a really good place to start with any homebrew is to look at existing things from the Monster Manual or from the Dungeon Master's Guide or Player's Handbook or whatever, and find the elements that exist that you already like, or certain things that you'd like to use. So a good thing to do would be to make like a kind of hybrid of certain parts that you enjoy from existing creatures. Like, you know, I want to have something that's vulnerable to, let's say, crossing a river, so I'll look at vampires for that. But I also want something that is, you know, has a tough armoured shell, so I might, you know, make a boulet that has the sort of armoured nature of a boulet but has this kind of like water vulnerable feature, that kind of thing. I would say try not to make something too powerful, because the main problem with homebrew is that the ability to get excited about things tends to make something so powerful that either it doesn't feel fair to actually use it in the game, or you'll kind of will feel guilty if it kills all your players and stuff. Just try and keep it grounded within the rules of existing creatures to start off with until you get more confident. And try and think about the vulnerabilities of something. Ultimately, making a monster or anything like that is a challenge, not just a fantasy. So you think about the type of encounter that you're trying to provide for your party, and try and think of something that they could tangibly do to circumvent that challenge. How can they get out of it? Treat every monster like a boss fight. Like what environmental things could someone do to get themselves out of danger, without it just being like, this is the scariest, biggest, nastiest, most terrifying thing in existence. Because you could just throw a Tarrasque at players otherwise, if you want to make the scariest thing possible. So yeah, use it as a creative outlet rather than just making a big terrifying thing, I guess.
Capman says proper utilisation of more unassuming characters can be better world building and grounding than most any monster.
Yeah, definitely.
Ring says, oh man, unrelated, but if you want an unfair monster, look up a time dragon.
A time dragon?
Are you familiar with that?
I'm not familiar with that. I mean, I know sapphire dragons have command over time in some capacity, but I don't know what a time dragon itself is.
It's a variant of epic dragon, being overall the most powerful dragon in Dungeons & Dragons, short of deities. At their peak, the time dragon shows mastery over controlling the time stream itself.
Wow.
Being able to stop time at will, and can travel forwards or backwards in time.
Yikes.
So I can just go back, kill you as a baby, be done with it.
Yeah, I guess so. Yikes.
Cav Man says, that said, I'd like a Susurrus. A strange aberration seemingly made of some gassy substance with the ability to put undead to torpor, sorry, with just whistling of air to their perforated form.
That's peculiar. I've never heard of that before. Sounds exciting.
Patches says, thank you very much for the advice, I will take it to heart.
No worries, I hope it's helpful. So I'm just trying to find where my line work is not joined up so I can delete all of this grey in one fell swoop. And I can't quite see. If you see any gaps, let me know.
I can see one, I think, in the elbow.
Oh yeah, I see it. There's some down here for sure. Oh yeah, there's one. Right, hang on.
York is asking, what is the history of Vedalken in your world? Do you have them?
I haven't really used them. I don't know. Sorry, there's a few things that are very niche that I've not included. So I don't know. What are the Vedalken?
Moonring says, I think I suggested a Susurrus on one of your videos.
Oh, okay.
So it will be on the mammoth.
It'll be on the
list.
Huge, never-ending list of Monster Monday.
That's right. It's not in every single one.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, there's so many on that list. No one will know what order they came in on. And Josh is like, no,
they must be
in
recorded.
order. It's a good job I'm not running the channel.
Oh, that's alright. You do a good job for the channel.
Okay. Capman says, from 2nd edition, described as looking like a gorilla made of broken glass. Not that familiar image.
Yeah.
But very much some strange alien being rather than a construct or elemental.
Ooh, very cool.
Also, if you're looking up a Susurrus, ignore the giant spider. Thank you for that warning.
Thank you for the heads up.
Sure,
I
Josh
will not look them up. Yeah. I'll leave that to you.
The one, what was the name? Vedalken. Or the blue people from the Guild Master Guide to Rav.
Oh, yeah. I remember them. Yes, I've not included them. But if someone really wants to play one, then
Cavman says I intended to use one in a silicoid crystal themed world to send my players to. That's cool.
Wow. Image adjustments, hue and variation. Let's change what this looks like. There you go, that'll do it. My concentration muscle is starting to falter a little bit now, I'll be honest. So I'm going to tidy this guy up and we can...
Okay, so we need some suggestions for him. What did we go with? We went with Janice. Oh, what was it? Janice Turntide or Riptide or something? What was it?
What? For the lady?
Yeah, what was it?
Underfoot or something like that. There's something
Undertow. Janice Undertow, I think it was.
Yeah.
Where did that little colour palette appear from?
I saved the colour palette from last time and just decided to edit it a little bit. I'm full of surprises.
I feel like the octopus has given you quite a lot of license for colour and texture in this one.
I'm very excited.
Undertow, thanks, Gavin.
I think we'll... There we go. Go for a bit of this.
He looks very smug. He does look very smug.
It does.
I think with such like flamboyant moustache, it's kind of hard not to look.
You have to, yeah.
Feels like a Gert.
A Gert.
Gert.
The only Gert I know is the yo kind.
No, Josh.
Oh, Gert is in like a name. Gertrude, maybe.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what the male version of Gert would be. Gertrum.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, quite posh and smug, so maybe quite a like an over the top second name.
Rambosio Squiddlesworth the Third.
I feel like there should be a Vaughn in there, like Gert Vaughn. Riptide? No, it's too close to Undertow, isn't it? Patrick says your artwork never ceases to amaze me.
Oh, thank you.
Same here, Patrick. Oh, he just feels it all from the top of his head, and I have no idea how anyone does it.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'm glad you like it.
Adolphus Glab.
Adolphus Glab. Wow.
Learned gentleman of the deeps. Don't you know? That's really good.
I love that.
Gavin says Dark Matter Crafts, who does terraining for tabletop, is named Gert.
I follow
That's where the
actually.
name came from for me.
I see. I do actually follow Dark Matter Crafts. I didn't know Gert was their name.
wonder what that's short for. Or if it's short for something, maybe it's not.
Yeah. Maybe it's not.
Gert von Ecclesqueen.
You see?
Oh, it's a German name.
Oh.
It's just Gert, meaning strong spear. There you go.
Oh, okay.
Short form of Gerrit or Gerard.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
I really love that colour palette.
Thank you. Glad you do. It's got really weird, but I like it. And also, I see there's something a bit of a smoky eye on this guy. No, that's not Atlantis. Sorry. Just a bit of these.
There's some love for this character and his colour palette.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah.
I'm glad.
Quite a rich colour palette. He looks like quite noble, maybe.
Yeah.
With his smug face, his big moustache, and his kind of
I'm liking it, yeah.
rich colours.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like Adolphus Glab is pretty good.
I bloody love that, yeah. Right, okay.
Orangey colours are always sleeper poppers.
Sleeper poppers?
I'm not sure what that.
Neither am I. I'm so out of the loop in life.
I need to
in general.
elaborate a bit, Catman.
Adjustment. Graduation, let's see. There you go. And then, actually, let's do an overlay layer for that, and then change the grayscale. Image adjustment, hue and saturation, change that grayscale into something firm. Oh, here he is. I quite like that. Yeah, that's fair, and I think I'll just add a little bit of shine on top of this, and then I think we're pretty much done actually.
Oh, sleeper as in sneak up on you and then pop.
Oh.
Good. I've never heard that expression, but that's cool.
Same.
For some reason, the face reminds me of the four-armed diner owner from Star Wars Episode 2.
Oh, I think I know who you mean. I'm not 100% sure, but it's a good reason to go back and look at Star Wars. So let me just filter blur these guys. And maybe a little bit less actually.
Putting a bit of shine on there.
Tiny bit of shine, yeah. I'll make that a little bit less visible. There we go.
Is this a technique that you just came up with yourself, or is this something that you've seen before?
I just decided to give it a go and see. But I'm quite pleased with those guys. Actually, I'm going to call those done. I'm pretty pleased with both of the weird fishy sea people that we made. Not sure if they both qualify as mer creatures, but I think they could in a certain sphere.
Who's to say?
Yeah, I like them. Yeah, what do you think? Would you guys use these in your campaign? I mean, I feel like I'm going to use her for sure because she looks terrifying, and that would fit right in my campaign.
Yes.
This guy is very sweet. I quite want him to be a vendor or something like that, like a someone that you guys would make friends with, and just sticky hands. Maybe he's a good thief. I don't know, with those little starfish hands. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. And I think that might do us for today, actually.
Thanks very much, everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much for your support and for watching and for your suggestions and for just being here. I hope you have a lovely Monday. If you have a lot of Monday left, for us it's the evening, so I think it's just dinner time and time for bed after that. But I'm really glad you guys came here, and I'll look forward to the next Monday's next video, but the next live stream as well, when we can have a chat and hang out. So yeah, thanks for joining us, and good night until I see you next.
Bye.
Bye.